Airlines continue to suffer the effects of this global pandemic, many of them at very low capacity, burning through capital. There's a quick look at Air Canada's stock. But of course, as they burn through capital, it may leave them less to invest in their fleets. And of course, that means the whole supply chain is affected. I want to welcome Philippe Balducchi, who's the head of Airbus Canada. Philippe, thank you very much for being with us. We appreciate it. And let's just start right there. How has the pandemic affected your business? What are you seeing?
So thank you. I'm glad to be here as well. Yes, so you said it right. I mean, the airlines are on the front line, but behind them, there's a whole industry, aerospace industry, which is suffering as well. In our specific case, I'll just give the example of the A220 production lines. We were in Mirabel at a production rate of 4 per month before the pandemic, and we are down now to 3. We were on the way of ramping up of production, and instead we have gone down by 1 step. So yes, it is impacting us definitely.
And so what's your expectation of any change in that, a return to orders, and what are you hearing from your biggest clients?
So the situation is in terms of orders. First, I would like to say that we did have to suffer cancellations, which is good. And the A220 is a good aircraft, and with a high level of utilization. There's about 95% of the fleet which is flying today, which is quite a performance. However, we do have discussion with our biggest clients and customers in terms of rescheduling the deliveries. And you can just imagine, we're again at production rate of 4, a production rate of 3, so 25% less, which means that we will deliver less aircraft than anticipated initially.
So what about your fixed costs? I mean, one thing we've seen, obviously, with this industry is that there are plenty of fixed costs. They're losing revenue, and so that obviously affects their cash position. How does it look for Airbus?
I'll talk about Airbus. In general, you know that Airbus is adapting its production and is adapting, therefore, as well, its workforce in view of the crisis, which is anticipated to last longer than initially thought. So we are addressing our cost base. We do the same here in Canada, in Mirabel. So we have had to let go about 300 people, and we are obviously looking at the measures to come. The program itself, the 220, is again was on the ramp-up mode, and we still believe that it will be on the ramp-up mode. It's a question of short-term uncertainty, and we need to cope with that. So for sure, we're looking at how to address our fixed costs as well.
You know, we've seen some of your big clients globally, including Air Canada, looking to refinance the purchase of some planes. How much of that are you seeing, and how much do you expect to continue if we do see this pandemic continue many more months?
I'll start by saying that during the pandemic, Air Canada has taken most 80% of our deliveries. We have delivered 5 aircraft during the pandemic. 4 of them went to Air Canada. So thank God that they were willing to take the deliveries. Otherwise, we'd be really in a bad situation. And for sure, there are many more to come. And they are looking at ways to, first, to make sure that the capacity is needed. And therefore, how can they finance this capacity coming up? Voilà, so that's the situation, and that's why I've been quite vocal recently. I think the airlines are again on the front line of that crisis. Behind there's a whole industry, and they need support, they need help, and they need help now.
What kind of help? I mean, we did just have a speech from the throne. Nothing mentioned, although there was a mention of keeping some regional routes open, and that could imply government subsidies on certain routes. But we really have had no direct aid to the biggest airlines in this country. What would you like to see?
First, I'm not necessarily the best place to spell out exactly what it means, but I think it means first by having a strong dialogue with the airlines, with the airport authorities as well, to see how can travel resume or at least be eased in a very safe way, because you know that in our industry at large, safety is clearly the #1 concern. So we definitely need to have safe travels, but see how we can resume some of the travel and look again what happens elsewhere. And when it's not possible, to also look at what the airlines need in order to go through that difficult time. It can go through liquidity help or whatever, but I think really the airlines need some signal that their government is behind them.
One of the, I guess I would call it for many Canadians a symbol of decline for Bombardier was the sale of its C Series to Airbus, what you would call now the A220. How has that been as a market? How has it been marketing? How's the market receiving it? Has it been successful for you?
Yeah, so the 220 first is a great aircraft, and the C Series was a great aircraft, and the A220 is a great aircraft. We've seen some encouraging signs and some good success in the past couple of years since we've been here. I think there's been I think the arrival of Airbus has given some more legs to the aircraft. So we definitely were on the good track. By the way, challenges are many, but with this situation and with the demand starting to slow down due to the COVID, for sure that puts some risk on the trajectory we're seeing. But it's a great aircraft, and Airbus is committed to it, is investing in it, and happy to do so.
All right, Philippe, it is great to have you with us. We appreciate your time today. Philippe Balducchi is the head of Airbus Canada, and we should know